Hello and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and stick around. Also, if you need help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. I also have some self-study courses about manifesting your specific person. And I now have a members-only channel with a lot of perks for members, including weekly live workshops with a different manifesting topic each week, weekly live group coaching, a lot of exclusive content, monthly challenges for a chance to win a free one-on-one coaching session with me, and a lot more. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website or to the membership channel. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, I want to go a little deeper into explaining what it actually means that you are the operant power of your reality. I know a lot of people, especially when you're starting out with manifesting, are wondering what that means, how it actually applies to me in practical terms, how does it help in my manifesting, and so on. So this is what I'll be discussing in today's video. Stay tuned. So I know a lot of people kind of struggle with the concept of being the operant power of their reality. I especially see it in people who come from a religious background or formerly coming from a religious background, where they have been taught and they're used to thinking that there is an outside force that is deciding for them, that knows what's best for them or what isn't best for them, that makes decision about what is meant for you, what is not meant for you, and so on. And a lot of people call that God, or they may call it the universe, they may call it source. There are different names, but the essence is the same. You're believing in a power outside of yourself, and you are relying on that power and also hoping that this power is going to be lenient to you and grant you all the things that you want, but at the same time, you are not certain that all that you want is possible, all that you want is going to happen, all that you want is actually meant for you, all that you want is going to be granted to you, and so on. So when you get into these teachings, I get how it can be a shock for a lot of you to learn that you are actually the operant power of your reality. What does that actually mean? What it means is that you are a part of what we call one consciousness. Some people call that God, some people call that source, some people call that the universe, but essentially we're all united in one consciousness. We are all part of that one consciousness. We are all one in that sense. We are all one energetically. And so what that means is that we are co-creators of our experiences in the 3D as we go along, moment by moment, minute by minute, in our everyday life. So in other words, every experience that you have is a manifested experience. Every experience that you have is a reflection of your inner consciousness into the outer world. And what is actually in your inner consciousness gets to shape your experiences in the 3D and in the outer world. What that also means is that the universe, your higher self, God, source, however you want to call it, always says yes to you. There is not a moment, there is not an occasion, there is not an instance where it's going to say no to you. However, what it says yes to depends entirely on what you have within. It could very well be that it says yes to some negative assumptions that you have, some self-sabotaging assumptions that you have. For example, if you're manifesting a specific person and you think that they're ignoring you, they don't care about you, and you're living in that energy, you're living in that identity of the person who is ignored, the outside world, the universe, if you will, is going to say yes to that. And it's going to give you evidence to strengthen and reinforce that assumption that, yes, you are being ignored by your specific person. Yes, that specific person doesn't actually care about you. That is because your dominant energy always has to be matched by the world around you. Similarly, if you're living in the identity of love, of a person who is loved, a person who is chosen, a person who is wanted, a person who is welcomed by other people, a person who is spoiled, let's say, by their SP, the outer world, including your SP, has to show you evidence that you are right, that you are correct in your assumptions. So if these are your assumptions, your specific person is going to be coming in hot, spoiling you, wanting to take you out and wanting to do things for you, wanting to show you their love, and so on. So you are the operant power, whether the experiences you're manifesting are negative for you or positive for you or even neutral. The world is always going to be saying yes to you and what is in your consciousness, what is dominantly in your consciousness. And that is what is meant by I am the operant power of my reality. A lot of people get confused because they may look at their external circumstances and they may not like their external circumstances very much. And so they start wondering, but how am I the operant power if my external circumstances are not to my preference? Well, the answer there is that you have to examine your inner consciousness. You have to examine your dominant consciousness and be very honest with yourself and ask yourself if what is in your dominant consciousness is actually pleasant, is actually desirable for you, or if it's something that self-sabotages you. If your outer circumstances show you things that you don't like and you don't prefer, chances are that your dominant energy is still self-sabotaging. You are still the operant power. Make no mistake, you are still the operant power. The world is still saying yes to you, but it's saying yes to you, to your dominant assumptions. And if your dominant assumptions are self-limiting, self-sabotaging, then this is what you're going to see in your external reality. This doesn't negate your creative power. This doesn't negate you being the operant power in your reality. But if your dominant energy, if what you're projecting out into the world is something that is not to your preference, then what the outer world mirrors back to you is still not to your preference. So it doesn't mean that because you are the operant power, you can dwell in any story and you can adopt any and all assumptions and somehow magically the world outside of you is going to show you what you want. No, the world outside of you always shows you who you are, not what you want. And so in order for you to start experiencing what you actually want, you need to shift who you are within. You are still and always the operant power in your reality because your assumptions, your energy, your vibration, your feelings about each experience and each situation always manifest and always shape your future experiences. But whether that is to your benefit or to your detriment, well, that is up to you. Because remember, the world always has to say yes to you. The world always has to say yes to who you dominantly are within. And so this is what it means when we say you are the operant power in your reality. That means that whatever you have within, you see without. That also means, because I see a lot of people, especially those coming from a religious background, struggling with that God's will or the universe's will, or however you resonate with it, always agrees with your will. There is no opposition. There is no, my will is separate from God's will, the universe's will, and so on. No, there is no such thing. However, your consciousness determines what you're going to see, what you're going to experience in your 3D. And if who you are within dominantly contradicts your will, then who you are within is always going to win. So you see then why you are the operant power in your reality, because it's always in your control. It's always your choice who you want to be. As Neville put it, you always have the choice, moment by moment, to choose your state. No one takes that away from you, ever, no matter the circumstances, no matter what the 3D may be showing. You always have the choice and you always have the free will to choose your state. And so according to the choice you make, according to the energies you're identifying with, according to the thoughts and the assumptions that you allow yourself to have, your experiences get shaped accordingly and matchingly, if you will. I don't even know if there is such a word, but they match essentially what you have within, who you are within on a dominant basis. So yes, you guys, your consciousness is the operant power in your reality. And you, as a conscious manifestor, have the power to determine what that consciousness is. If that consciousness is showing you things that you don't like in your 3D and you prefer your experiences to be different, you have the power to always choose where you put your consciousness. You always have the power to choose your states. You always have the power to choose the stories that you tell yourself and the stories that you adopt as true. And the world is always going to follow. The world is always going to say yes to you because you are and always have been the operant power. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.